Good afternoon, and if you're just joining us, thank you once again for finding us here on CanadaSoccer.com as we bring you live action of Canada's men's national team here in Houston against El Salvador. This match billed as just a friendly, and there's a nice atmosphere building here in Houston. It's a party-like atmosphere. You'd have to say about 5,000 to 10,000 Salvadorans in attendance, and many have been outside tailgating and having some fun for a few hours now, so this should be a festive match. Let's get straight into it, into Canada's lineup for this one. Simon Thomas will make his start in goal for Canada on the day of his 8th appearance. Michael Petrasso at right back. At center back, you have Dejan Jakovic, who will captain the side on the day of his 40th cap today, alongside Steven Vittoria, and Mark Anthony Kaye gets a start at left back. Moving into the midfield, we have Samuel Piette, who will wear the number 6. Toronto FC's Jonathan Osorio, and Burnley from the English Premier League's Scott Arfield will round out the midfield trio. It'll be a sort of attacking three up front for Canada. Number 16, Fraser Aird down that right side. The big number 10, Kyle Larin at the center forward position. And wide left is, again from Toronto FC, Raheem Edwards. In terms of the lineup for El Salvador, it's Darby Carrillo in goal. Tamacas, Dominguez, Manchilla, and Larin across the back four. Alvarez and Menjivar in midfield with sort of an attacking four for El Salvador. Jaime Alas wide left, Denis Pineda out right, and we have Bonilla and, Efrain Burgos up front. Of course, many of you will remember that Nelson Bonilla had a quite excellent Gold Cup, getting on the score sheet a few times in that tournament. And of course, Canada was here in Houston in that tournament, a 1-1 draw with Costa Rica. And as you'll recall, Alphonso Davies had the goal for Canada on that day, and I do remember some fantastic saves by Milan Borjan, who gets a special shout out for that performance as well. As the teams make their way towards the center circle for kickoff in this one. Canada have been down in Houston since Friday. They've been training previous to that up at Nottawasaga, which is near Alliston, Ontario, just north of Toronto, for the better part of the week in the build-up, as the Canadian players come together in a huddle in their all-white strip with red numbers. Such has been the theme under Octavio Zambrano. This is a very young Canadian team. As the Canadian players emerge from that huddle, Scott Arfield just giving a high five there to Fraser Aird. Of course, two players with Scottish connections. I know they share a close friendship. So across that Canadian back line, a relatively similar one to the Gold Cup, with Petrasso at right back and Vittoria and Jakovic in the middle. But Mark Anthony Kaye, who did see minutes at the Gold Cup as a midfielder, has returned to left back. Speaking to Octavio Zambrano before the game, Zambrano first saw him as a left back at that under-23 camp in Qatar. He liked what he saw there, and with Marcel de Jong unavailable, Kaye steps into that position. Of course, Sam Adekugbe is also on loan at the moment in Scandinavia, so he's not here. So two of Canada's first-choice left backs out of the picture, and Mark Anthony Kaye steps in. And we're underway here in Houston. That was rather uncustomary. There was a minute of silence, I believe, observed there for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. That normally happens while the players are standing around the center circle. At this time, they were actually in full formation, ready to kick off. But nonetheless, we're underway here in Houston. El Salvador worked that around the back line. This is Larin playing this forward. Here comes the number 19, Stephen Vittoria for Canada, stepping onto that one. Had a chance to get down onto the playing surface before the game. It looks to be in decent shape. It is soft, however, so I'd expect this pitch to cut up as the game goes on. The Canadian players were saying that was certainly the case during the Gold Cup match. Quite incredible to think, really, that 22-year-old Samuel Piette is the second most capped Canadian player on the field, behind Dejan Jakovic at the back. Piette at 22, of course, made his debut at 17, so a relative veteran by now. Said he's certainly enjoying his time in Montreal with Montreal Impact in MLS. Really nice chance for him to come play some football at home as El Salvador, again, worked this across the back line, looking to generate an opportunity. And here comes Tamakas down that right side. Appeals for a foul there. It looks like it's been given, a free kick to El Salvador. And once again, to those just joining us on CanadaSoccer.com, thanks for finding us. Thanks for making time on your Thanksgiving Sunday to watch a bit of men's national team action. Still 0-0, 2 minutes into the game here in Houston. That's a ball played into the area, but Simon Thomas will come out and collect that one easily enough. Simon Thomas is fresh off a successful campaign in Norway. He's playing for a club called Bodo Glimt, who were recently playing in the second division in Norway, but they did win that division and are now back into the top division in Norway. Said he's enjoying his football there. There's Fraser Aird looking to get on this one, and that will roll out of play for a throw into El Salvador. You can probably see Octavio Zambrano down there on the sidelines, just barking out some instructions early on here. Scott Arfield makes the interception. Shows good feet to get away from that one. Unfortunately, that's pulled back, and El Salvador have a chance to work this one around. Jaime Alas on this left side. He is one of El Salvador's more dangerous players. Thomas collects that one easily enough and finds Jakovic under a bit of pressure. Jakovic turns away and finds Thomas once more. Mark Anthony Kay crying for it out left, and he gets it if he can keep it in. Assistant referee says he does, and play goes on. Here's Piette. Looking for Arfield. El Salvador doing well to press that Canadian midfield early on, not giving them lots of time on the ball. And they force another turnover here from Fraser Aird. Sure, you can hear those drums banging away. Octavio Zambrano said this will feel like an away game for Canada with lots of Salvadoran fans, the hot and humid climate. He did actually say he would have rather played this game in San Salvador to really see how these young players perform in truly hostile and hot conditions, but I suppose a decent comparison here in Houston with certainly a majority El Salvador crowd in the house. Haven't seen a Canadian flag yet, but that is customary, as we know, in these parts. Here's Piette, working a bit of combination play there with Osorio. That's a ball looking for Scott Arfield in a good position. Tried to knock down that header for Larin, but didn't quite work out. Here's Pineda. Zambrano did highlight Pineda as another one of those attacking El Salvadoran players that can make an impact in that final third. Canada will have to keep their eyes on him. Nelson Bonilla. The flag is up on the far side, and that's offside and a free kick to Canada. Again, you really can't stress how young a Canadian team this is. A lot of players that weren't even on the radar about 6 months ago, let alone a couple years ago. In fact, very few of these players on the pitch with connections to the senior men's national team stemming beyond the last 2 or 3 years. A very young squad here, and that's all part of the youth movement and building process for Canada. We're still awaiting final word on how the qualification cycle and format will work for the next World Cup, if there is to be a change, but the only guaranteed competitive action for Canada on the horizon is Gold Cup 2019. But of course, talk that qualifying, or at least something approaching qualifying in CONCACAF, could begin sooner than that, so no time to waste here for Canada as they prepare for the long-term goals. Here's Arfield. Him and Larin just got their wires crossed there. And I believe that's a first touch for Darby Carrillo in goal. Carrillo, the Salvadoran keeper, actually plays his club football in Iceland on a side that have 3 Salvadoran players playing in Iceland. So quite a unique setup there, as this will be a free kick for Canada in a decent position. Scott Arfield looks to be getting over top of this one. This one sitting right in the middle of the pitch, so not much of an angle. Arfield will have to work something. He dinks it into the box. That was Vittoria trying to get on the end of it, but that's claimed by Carrillo. And here's a quick throw, and here come El Salvador. Fraser does well to track back there. He's done really well to win that cleanly. Referee says no foul, they play on, but he's pulled it back. A late decision, and you can see Octavio Zambrano wasn't pleased about that. Neither was Paul Stalteri, the assistant on the bench for Canada. Stalteri, formerly Canada's most capped player, is now an assistant, and a very valuable assistant to Octavio Zambrano. See Stalteri working on the pitch for a lot of the sessions. Great to have a Canadian player with that kind of club experience in the Bundesliga and the Premier League, now helping this Canadian team. Larin plays that free kick back towards his own goal. Tamakas trying to work it down that right side. Ball stayed in place, says the assistant referee. Here comes Raheem Edwards. Of course, Osorio and Raheem Edwards enjoying such a good club season with Toronto FC as they've recently won the Supporters' Shield, winning the MLS regular season title. Saw St. Ricketts also started the week with the Canadian team, but opted to stay in Toronto owing to a bit of a fitness concern. You can appreciate with Toronto FC approaching the playoffs, those players not wanting to take any undue risks at this time. There's a bit of a coming together there. Looks like the referees awarded a free kick to El Salvador. Strong challenge there by Mark Anthony Kay. Referee says no foul, so we play on. That's a bit cheaply given away by Osorio in a dangerous position. Manchia at the back for El Salvador. Appeals for a foul, nothing given. To admit that neither on the official team sheet nor the copy of the team sheet I got from the Salvadoran press officer, there's no number 6 to be found, but yet we have a number 6 on the pitch. So I'll be honest and say, a bit of an unknown quantity in midfield there for El Salvador. Bit of a mix-up here with the lineups for this friendly. That's Kyle Larin pressing high up the pitch there for Canada. There's Sam Piet laying that back to Stephen Vittoria. It's a long ball looking for Fraser Aird. This will be a throw into Canada. This will be taken by Michael Petrasso. Petrasso was with such a breakthrough summer for Canada at the Gold Cup, playing virtually every minute of that tournament. Unfortunately, Petrasso hasn't been able to break into the first team at QPR in the English Championship. Of course, that's quite a tough level to break into for a young player. So here comes Fraser Aird. And that's Petrasso winning that back. Dinks it into the box. Still loose. Ultimately a foul given against Canada, so a free kick to El Salvador to relieve that pressure. Getting back to Petrasso, he's of course working with former Canadian international Mark Bertram, who's an assistant coach at QPR in England. But you'd imagine if Petrasso can't start to get regular first-team football there, he'll be looking at January, maybe for a loan move. He's in those important years where as a young player you just want to be playing football at first-team level. Here come El Salvador, but that's Edwards intercepting that one. Edwards on the ball once more. Savio Zambrano said he knew El Salvador wouldn't be taking this match lightly. You can tell from the intensity of some of that early pressing and tackles from El Salvador, they certainly want to make an impression here in front of their fans. As Jakovic heads that back to Simon Thomas. Here's Vittoria. Sorio. Jakovic once more. Ball into the channel looking for Larin, but just not enough pace on that one. This will be a throw to Canada, though. Here's Petrasso. He's got Scott Arfield inside, and he finds him. Good position here for Scott Arfield. Oh, nearly got through the back line there. Certainly one of Canada's best players in that kind of position, Scott Arfield. He's having a fantastic season with Burnley. Currently sitting 6th in the Premier League, which for a club of that size is a real achievement, even at this early stage. That's a nice bit of play there as Piet to Larin to Arfield, and he's streaking forward. He's got Raheem Edwards to his left if he can find him. Here's Edwards. And that cross cut out, but a nice bit of interchange there. Piet, Larin, and Arfield working a bit of magic. That's much better from Canada. Piet lunges in there, comes away with the ball. Really nicely done by Piet. He looked almost certain to be beaten, but with that left foot he clawed that one back. There's Larin. Petrasso. Dejan Jakovic. Jakovic playing his club football for New York Cosmos and NASL. There's actually 3 New York Cosmos players on this El Salvador team. So we've got a few friends on the other side today. Here's Osorio. Arfield. Back to Piet, and this will be Mark Anthony Kay in lots of space. He'll surely look to cross this one in. Here it is. It's cut out by Tamakas, and El Salvador hoof went up the field. Jakovic with a bit of a body shake fake there, and Michael Petrasso gets on the ball now at right back. There's Fraser Aird to Petrasso. Petrasso tried the nutmeg, unsuccessful, and he's been caught there on the follow-through. He looks to be in some distress, Michael Petrasso. Looked like the studs came right down on his shin. I believe that's Alexander Larin. His shin's coming down on Michael Petrasso as Canadian physio Greg Bay and Dr. John Philpott make their way onto the pitch. So we're approaching the quarter of an hour mark here. It's been fairly even so far. El Salvador certainly showing that bite in midfield that you expect from a team like them. Not giving Canada much time on the ball, but Canada have just, in the last couple of moments, started to show their quality. Paul Stalteri is passing on some instructions to Stephen Vittoria. talk about the youth in that Canadian 11, well, it only gets younger on the bench. There are 4 players on the Canadian bench who would be in line to make their senior debuts tonight. One of those being Milovan Kapor, who's actually here at his first men's national team camp of any kind. Kapor plays his club football in Israel, center back. The other 3 being Jordan Schweitzer, who plays with Orlando City in MLS, mostly playing USL minutes at this stage. Kwame Awuah of New York City FC. The other being a young man by the name of Chris Twardek. He's on the books at Millwall. He's been on the bench a few times this season. He's pretty much the only Millwall youth team player to be breaking into that first team squad under Neil Harris in the championship. So Twardek, a tall winger full of tricks, so we might get to see a bit of him tonight. Piet gets caught under pressure there and does really well to hang on to that one. Again, another example of Sam Piet's strength in midfield. He's not the biggest player, but his nickname within the team is the Bulldog, and you can see why there. Well, that's really nicely done by Arfield. Here's Osorio. Canada with numbers forward. Osorio into the box. Aird was looking to get on the end of that one, but that's Darby Carrillo picking that up. Again, the keeper who plays his club football in Iceland. El Salvador made it to the quarterfinals of this year's Gold Cup before losing out to the United States. Canada, of course, getting to their respective quarter, and unfortunately losing to Jamaica. And that's come up a number of times this week. That's a game that Canada was very disappointed to lose. They felt they were the better team. Jamaica really did what Jamaica does best, hit Canada on the counter, used their pace and power, and maybe just took advantage of a young Canadian team and a slightly naive ethos in that game. But you would have to say that in terms of creating chances and moving the ball around, that was still a good performance for Canada. And of course, Canada won recently at BMO Field 2-0 against Jamaica, so they've shown that they're more than capable in that duo between those two teams. Here's Vittoria. Mark Anthony Kay plays for Louisville in USL, but you'd expect he'll be on to bigger and better things soon. Mark Anthony Kay with another real breakthrough year into this Canadian 11. Even getting the start here against Costa Rica at the Gold Cup, a real achievement for a young player. Larin tries to turn that one, no joy. Hear the crowd just rising here as the noise starts to build. A bit of a Mexican wave trying to get underway here. There was actually a Mexican club friendly here at BBVA yesterday. Tigres against Monarcas. Very lively atmosphere. I'd say over 20,000 here. Obviously a very big Latin American population in these parts. Here's Osorio for Canada. Arfield. Aird's in space if he can find him. That's a bit of a weak pass, but it'll make it there to Fraser Aird. Cuts it inside, and this will be a corner kick to Canada. As I mentioned, Arfield and Aird, both players that could have chosen to play for Scotland, have chosen to play for Canada instead. The Canadian program certainly benefiting from that, as this Mexican wave is doing its best to get started here. You can probably hear the noise from the Salvadoran fans. This will be Scott Arfield to take the corner for Canada. Arfield swings it in. Bounces through everyone, really. Here's Jakovic. Osorio. It's given away there by Osorio. El Salvador with numbers here. It's basically 4-on-3 in the back. Dangerous here. And here's a ball out wide right with numbers pouring in for El Salvador. And you have to say that was not a great decision. That was Menjivar on that right side, and with 3 men in the box, they'll be asking, why didn't you swing that in? Numeric advantage for El Salvador, but he opted to take a shot from range, which sailed well and truly wide. Let off there for Canada. Thomas sends that one forward. Looks like a push in the back on Larin. No free kick given. Here's Arfield. Samuel Piet. Edwards. Raheem Edwards turns well. He's got pace. He'll be away from them. Larin's in the middle if he can find them, but just couldn't find the angle on that pass. Stephen Vittoria does well to get across and clear the danger there for Canada. This game getting a little bit stretched. Despite the pace of Mark-Anthony Kaye and Michael Petrasso, Vittoria and Jakovic not the fastest players, so Canada just have to be aware of El Salvador maybe catching them on the counter. Sam Piet does well to break that up and wins a free kick for Canada. Piet doing what Piet does early here, just breaking things up, helping take that pressure off the Canadian back line. Piet, who moved to Europe at such a young age, the better part of 7-8 years, really grafting away over there in Germany and Spain. I know he's really enjoying being at home in Montreal. Certainly paid his dues to get that MLS contract. And great to see all of the Canadian clubs really having a few Canadian players do really well this season. There's Kaye, former Toronto FC man, now playing for Louisville. That's one back well by Kaye. Here's Raheem Edwards, no one really in the box to aim at. He throws it in there anyways. You do wonder if maybe Scott Arfield could have got on the end of that one. Piet throws the body in. But El Salvador will hang on to this one. Oh, Mark-Anthony Kaye has done brilliantly. Back-to-back wins there from Kaye. You might have seen on the highlights from that intra-squad game at Nottawasaga, Kaye with a really nice piece of interchange leading to that second goal for Canada in that intra-squad match on Thursday. He's a young player really catching the eye. Raheem Edwards. It's Kaye. Sends across field, and Canada have a chance to build down this right side now. Petrasso looks over the top, and Fraser Aird will show his pace to get onto this one, I believe. It's just cut out in the end by Manchia. There's the throw from Aird. Larin's in there, but he's all alone. He does well to cut that back, but Darby Carrillo will collect that one easily enough. Coming up on 25 minutes played here in Houston, still 0-0. Once again, to those just joining us, thank you for making time on your Thanksgiving Sunday to take in a bit of Canada soccer action. As Petrasso does well to pressure Pineda there, and ultimately this will be a throw into Canada. Fraser Aird brings that one down. Octavio Zambrano can be seen waving those players forward, saying, get up that pitch. Jakovic heads that across to Vittoria. Two Toronto area natives at center back for Canada. Mike Petrasso and Mark-Anthony Kaye rounding out an all GTA back line. Petrasso from Woodbridge, Mark-Anthony Kaye also from Toronto. And actually, Petrasso's family now living right up by Nottawasaga, where Canada trained earlier this week. That's a good ball over the top, and Canada will have to deal with this. Mark-Anthony Kaye does really well, but it's been chipped. Simon Thomas gets back in the end. Kaye did well to win that first header, but Simon Thomas had to be alert to cover that one. Actually, that was Tamakas making that run all the way up from right back. And we have seen this Salvadoran team with a bit of a flexible formation, players switching sides, making runs, so they're not afraid to get forward as well. Sam Piet. Got space to run into, he does. Here's Fraser Aird, who look to get around the back. He opts to cross that one in. Many of you will recall that outstanding performance by Fraser Aird in March in Scotland. Scored Canada's lone goal in that 1-1 draw. It was pretty much unanimously named match of the match by the Scottish press as well. For a player playing in the Scottish Championship, he really rose to the challenge that day and outplayed probably the best player Scotland has to offer. You wondered if that might help him get a move into the Scottish Premier League, but he's playing for Dunfermline in the Scottish Championship at the moment. Of course, spent time with Vancouver Whitecaps last season on loan. So most of these Canadian players with some degree of North American-based experience as well. Petrasso winning that header over Pineda. They're tracking back here. He's done well to stop that attack and can't keep that one in, unfortunately. Fraser Aird's going to receive a yellow card for what appears to be an off-the-ball challenge as that one rolled out of play. I have to admit I didn't catch it. We'll see if we get a replay on that. So a yellow card early doors here to Fraser Aird in the 27th minute. Just waiting to see if we get a replay on that one. It's Alexander Larin who went down. Suggestions, I believe, of an elbow by Aird, but I have to admit I didn't see it. I believe we're all getting a look at that one. That angle doesn't show anything. Certainly no elbow. You could argue maybe Aird took his feet out with his feet, but that camera angle not revealing much. Bit of a harsh yellow card. Didn't even look like Aird was looking at the opponent. Carrillo sends that one up towards Jaime Alas. Alas looking for Pineda. Simon Thomas will let that one roll into his area. And with Milan Borjan not coming into these last two Canadian camps, we have Jason Lutweiler, who made his home turf debut in Toronto last month, and now Simon Thomas getting the start here in Houston. Thomas, I believe, made his men's national team debut in this exact stadium against the United States, earning a clean sheet in a friendly about 5 years ago. January 2013. A relatively sedate match, but a good result, 0-0 here against the Americans. Colin Miller was an interim charge for that one. Canadian teams have played quite a bit of football here, really. The women's national team was down here in the build-up to the last Olympics. They successfully qualified, of course, for Rio. Some of you will remember in that goal to our right-hand side, Christine Sinclair scored an absolute screamer with that pass to herself and a spin and fire off the crossbar and in. You've probably seen that quite a few times on our channels. As the teams appear to be breaking for a bit of an enforced water break here owing to the conditions, as I said, hovering at about 30 degrees Celsius. Plenty of humidity in the air. Canadian players just taking that fluid on board as Octavio Zambrano takes an opportunity to speak to Petrasso, Aird, and Vittoria. You can imagine for a player like Scott Arfield, who plays club football in the northwest of England, I can certainly tell you there's no conditions like this over there, so he's getting a good taste of what CONCACAF football is all about. These conditions very similar, at least climate-wise, to what you'd expect in a San Pedro Sula or Mexico City or San Salvador. Of course, Arfield did feature in that game down in San Pedro Sula recently, where Canada came so close to getting that result. He put the ball in from Andrew Carr-James that put Canada up 1-0, and, well, I don't need to tell you, for those 10 minutes, it looked pretty good for Canada. Unfortunately, they lost that one 2-1, and that was pretty much the end of that qualifying campaign. Of course, CONCACAF qualifying coming to a climax in the next couple of days with the Hex coming down to the very The very last stage is coming down to the wire as Honduras, Panama, and the United States battle it out for that last position and entry into that playoff against Asia. Syria and Australia doing battle in Asia to determine who will take on that fourth CONCACAF seed out of the hex. As the two teams make their way back onto the pitch after that water break. This game coming during what is a busy window of international football, as I said, with CONCACAF and CONMEBOL and UEFA all coming to a relative climax with their qualifying campaigns. A lot of eyeballs on the international game over this weekend. Teams desperate to book that place at Russia 2018. For these two teams, the focus is on a bit of a longer-term trajectory. The next Gold Cup in Qatar 2022 lurking on the horizon. This is Mark-Anthony Kaye well up the pitch there. Sorry, that was Kyle Larin, my apologies. Here's Osorio. Here is Kaye. Raheem Edwards. Osorio. Arfield calling for it in midfield. He gets it, but under some pressure, and he does well to lay that back to Stephen Vittoria. Vittoria, who you may recall actually played against Canada for Portugal's under-20s in that 2007 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Toronto. We're certainly happy to have him on board here with the men's national team. That's a free kick to El Salvador inside the center circle. Vittoria now playing his club football for Lechia Gdańsk in Poland. So playing at a good level. Those of you in Toronto will know there's such a big Portuguese community there, particularly in the football community, so no surprise to have a Portuguese member on this national team. So this is Kaye looking for Arfield. Couldn't quite bring that down. As mentioned, Scott Arfield enjoying a great season with Burnley. They're off to a flying start in England. A win at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge early in the season, and Scott Arfield scored in a 1-1 draw at Anfield against Liverpool. And most recently, Burnley marched into Everton and got the win there as well. So they're absolutely flying. As here come El Salvador. And that is a foul, certainly. Stephen Vittoria, the man we were just talking about, the yellow card is out. After that tackle on Jaime Alas. And not only a free kick in a dangerous position, but that's a yellow card as well to Stephen Vittoria. So not frequently you see cards given out like this in a friendly. Canada with two players in the book already. And the Salvadoran fans here love a bit of that as this team gets ready for a dangerous free kick. Flags waving and fans to their feet here in Houston. First real test for Canada. Simon Thomas organizes that wall as there are three Salvadoran players standing over this one. Jaime Alas, the man brought down most directly over this one. That's number 20, Efrain Burgos, standing over that with his right foot. That's Alas. My apologies, Alexander Larin on his left foot. There's Larin into the wall. He gets it again. And that's right at Simon Thomas. Canada survived that one. So probably you'd say that is the first real opportunity for El Salvador. Thankfully no real danger in the end for Canada. Canada, of course, certainly took the mini-series between the two teams during qualifying. Canada with that 3-1 win in Vancouver and a 0-0 draw away in San Salvador earlier in the campaign. So Canada with the edge in recent matches. They won't want to lose this one. That's Fraser aired into the box. A good cross. Cleared away by Tamakas. Good tackle there by Raheem Edwards. No foul given. If Canada can break here, they've got numbers. Just about intercepted there by El Salvador, and here they come again. Tamakas. looking for a foul, but didn't look like one to me. Referee agrees. Here's Sam Piet. Petrasso. Aird. Arfield. That's a smart ball for Petrasso. Really well done by Arfield there. Here's Larin. He's got Fraser Aird to his right. He finds him. Aird. Clever ball to Petrasso. Corner kick to Canada. Good stuff there down that right side by the Canadians. Larin, Aird, Petrasso, and Arfield all working the ball well. This is a chance for the big boys, Vitoria, Jakovic, to come up into the box for this one. Arfield on the ball, looking to show his quality. Canadian players lining up just on the other side of that penalty spot. Scott Arfield on his right foot. Bends that one into the box, a good ball. Carrillo clears, Osorio with a bit of time, strikes it. Right at Darby Carrillo in the end. Osorio with good technique to get the one on goal, maybe just not enough power, and right down the middle, and here come El Salvador. Looking to exploit Piet, but you've got to get up pretty early in the morning to beat Sam Piet. He's certainly amongst the most alert defensive players on this Canadian team, and he shows his stuff there once more. Scott Arfield looking for Edwards, but that'll be gathered by Carrillo. Into the 38th minute here in Houston. Still 0-0. No real chances to speak of either way. Alas, Bonilla just behind him, and Kay gathers that one. As mentioned, a very young Canadian bench, so not a lot of proven firepower on this bench for Canada, but this match, as we keep saying, is really all about trying out these young players, giving them a chance to strut their stuff. As Larin and Air just get their signals mixed up there. Goal kick to El Salvador. And the bench for Canada reads as goalkeeper Jason Litweiler, midfielder Jordan Schweitzer. We have Juan Cordova, a young right back, playing in the Chilean First Division. He did make a brief appearance for Canada in June against Curacao. Kevin Alleman, who albeit made his debut quite a while ago for the Canadian men's national team, is still a relatively young player playing for Saprissa in Costa Rica. As mentioned, Milovan Kapor, Louis Bellon Goyette, another looking to make his debut, Montreal Impact player. Kwame Awua from New York City FC. Anthony Jackson-Hamel, who of course has gotten on the score sheet a couple times in recent matches for Canada, so that's probably Canada's most experienced attacking player on the bench if we are still looking for a goal later on in this one. Chris Twardek from Millwall, and Adam Straith, relative veteran Straith, now playing back in Germany in the third division there. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those players get on the pitch for Canada in the second half. Normally in these friendlies you see quite a bit of rotation. Jakovic just looking for an option here. Goes long to Raheem Edwards. He's going to have to do well to bring this one down. In the end, that just rolls out of play. I'm sure Octavio Zambrano will feel Canada haven't done quite enough to carve out as many opportunities as he would have liked at this stage. I guess the positives are El Salvador aren't carving out much themselves, so it's been a bit of a stalemate here so far. For once, Mark Anthony Kay loses out there. El Salvador threatened to break, but Stephen Vitoria put that fire out. Throw in here to El Salvador. Mark Anthony Kay just biting away there, and he finally comes away with the ball. Now he's been kicked, and foul rightfully given. Kay showing his work rate, showing his energy here in the first half. really go down the gamut of this Canadian roster, as I keep saying. A whole host of players who even a year ago you would have rightfully almost asked who they were. Not a lot of these players having had by any means long careers with the men's national team, and fantastic to see a good 5, 6, 7, 8 players really breaking into regular football for this Canadian team this year. There's Larin, who even as an established striker for Canada, still very young player. Of course, drawing lots of attention from clubs in Europe, just finishing his season with Orlando City in MLS. It'll be interesting to watch Larin's off-season develop. There's Edwards. Really nice turn there by Raheem Edwards. Good bit of play. Unfortunately, can't find the right pass there. Okay. It doesn't quite work out for Canada. And here comes battle between Bonilla and Vitoria. Bonilla gets the body in, but Vitoria wins out in the end. Jakovic and Vitoria showing lots of poise in the back for Canada. Really nothing doing for El Salvador in this first half, and just a question of who's going to carve out the first real chance. That's a bit of quality there from our field. Edwards tries to get onto that one, and this will be a free kick to El Salvador as Edwards takes Ivan Manchia out there. If it stays 0-0, it'll be interesting to see how these two coaches tactically readjust at halftime. Lots of players on the bench looking to get in, and often these friendlies, it's all about bringing in those players, but certainly not a case of just foregoing the result. Both teams will want to get something here as well. Got to hand it to the Salvadoran fans. Those drums have been going all the first half. They were going for a couple hours before kickoff as well. Proper tailgate action here outside the BBVA Stadium on a hot day. Great passion as ever from these Central American supporters. I have to say, when you travel the world watching football, there's not many places better than Central America and South America to really feel that atmosphere, and even here in Houston, they're making their presence felt. Always colorful, always with the drums beating away during the game. When you think back to Canadian performances in places like Honduras and Panama, to really put that into context, the true extent of the fan support in these countries. So here come El Salvador. That's a good ball into the box. Simon Thomas gathers that in the end. That was Pineda just looking to loft that header into the back corner there. Simon Thomas alert to that one. Certainly using his big frame to get in the way. Thomas, formerly a Vancouver Whitecaps player. He's bounced around England a bit, was at Huddersfield Town for a spell, as I said, now playing in Norway, just helping his team to promotion back to the Norwegian top flight, where they'll be taking on the likes of Rosenborg and some of the big Norwegian clubs next year. His club actually playing within the Arctic Circle, as I said, Bodo Glimt, one of the most northern clubs in Norway, so a Canadian player, perhaps unsurprisingly, playing at a very high latitude. This is the ball into the box. Great confidence there from Kay just to knock that back to Simon Thomas. Made that look easy, but I can assure you heading that kind of ball back towards goal from that area is not, and Thomas will be grateful it came right to him. Larin, bit of a heavy touch there, but he does well to win the foul. That's Manchia, the number 5 for El Salvador, picking up that foul. If you're just joining us, Canada do have 2 players on yellow cards already, Fraser Aird and Stephen Vitoria. Here's Osorio. He's got those distinctive low socks and little shin pads. Fraser Aird looking to get up for this one. He's done well. Larin perhaps just struggling to get involved in the way you would have hoped for in this first half, but I guess as a striker you'll say you need the service, and maybe that hasn't been there either. Here's Osorio. Osorio appealing as he was certainly being held there. I guess referee deeming that he played the advantage. This will be a goal kick. The 4th official did hold up the board there for 2 minutes of injury time here in this first half, so not quite done here yet in the first half. Anthony Kay does really well there again. Can't fault his display at all at left back so far. Victoria, here's Arfield. That's probably a player Canada just needs to try to get on the ball more. Scott Arfield, he just seems to pull the strings for us, and here he certainly did that, finding Fraser Aird. Aird with good feet into the box, and that must be a free kick. It is. Really nice stuff there from Fraser Aird. A little left to right, shimmy and a shake, and this will be a free kick in a good position. Where you probably wish you had Marcel de Jong on the pitch from this angle with his left boot. Probably have to be a right-footed player for Canada, but with the likes of Scott Arfield, certainly still in good hands. Jakovic, Victoria, forward for this one, as we've seen with most of the set pieces. Mark Anthony Kay in there as well. Petrasso and Piet, the more diminutive players at the back, just holding the fort for Canada. Probably bank on Scott Arfield being the man to take this one. Raheem Edwards is there as well. You just wonder, with the lack of opportunity, maybe Arfield might just take this one on and have a crack at goal. But it does have options in there for the cross as well. Here's the ball from Scott Arfield. He did try catch the keeper out there. You did just sense that with the lack of shots on target for Canada, we were probably due an attempt at goal. He tried it. That was a couple feet wide of the right post, and the referee has blown his whistle. Halftime here in Houston. So a cagey first half, 0-0. And as I said, it'll be interesting to see how this match develops into the second half. Octavio Zambrano heading into that locker room to give his lads a team talk. Anyways, thank you for joining us so far. We'll be back with you shortly on CanadaSoccer.com. Stay tuned for our coverage of the second half coming up in about 15 minutes.
Supermercado Fiesta, el supermercado de nosotros los latinos. Supermercado Fiesta, un cachito de lo nuestro. Unicomer, apoyando siempre a la selecta. Unicomer es la marca reconocida de la Curazao de Centroamérica, donde no puedes comprar sin crédito y sin seguro social. Con pagos tan bajos como de $20 al mes, solamente necesitas la identificación de tu país, un comprobante de domicilio y un comprobante de ingresos. Unicomer, siempre con la selecta. Hops, los mejores productos y cereales para su familia. Hops, mejores cereales. Abogado Mauro Beltramini, el abogado hispano que va a hacer valer sus derechos. Abogado Mauro Beltramini. El Consulado General de El Salvador en Houston, siempre con nuestra comunidad. Un saludo de parte del Consulado de El Salvador en la ciudad de Houston. Discoteca Vértigo también patrocina este programa y Classic Nissan. Les recordamos que usted puede escuchar Acción Centroamérica en Univisión Deportes Radio 10:10 AM. Acción Centroamérica de lunes a viernes de 12 del mediodía a 1 de la tarde en Univisión Deportes Radio 10:10 AM con su servidor Alex Vanegas. Acción Centroamérica en Univisión Deportes Radio 10:10 AM. Este evento es orgullosamente presentado por Planet Football, Cabro Promotions y Ecabel. Gracias y un saludo a la selección y a los fanáticos de la selección de El Salvador. Fuerza 503 barra de la selección. Supermercado Fiesta, el supermercado de nosotros latinos. Supermercado Fiesta es un cachito de lo nuestro. Unicomer es la marca reconocida.
Good afternoon, and if you're just joining us, thank you once again for finding us here on CanadaSoccer.com as we bring you live action of Canada's men's national team here in Houston against El Salvador. This match billed as just a friendly, and there's a nice atmosphere building here in Houston. It's a party-like atmosphere. You'd have to say about 5,000 to 10,000 Salvadorans in attendance, and many have been outside tailgating and having some fun for a few hours now, so this should be a festive match. Let's get straight into it, into Canada's lineup for this one. Simon Thomas will make his start in goal for Canada on the day of his 8th appearance. Michael Petrasso at right back. At center back, you have Dejan Jakovic, who will captain the side on the day of his 40th cap today, alongside Steven Vittoria, and Mark Anthony Kay gets a start at left back. Moving into the midfield, we have Samuel Piet, who will wear the number 6. Toronto FC's Jonathan Osorio, and Burnley from the English Premier League's Scott Arfield will round out the midfield trio. It'll be a sort of attacking three up front for Canada. Number 16, Fraser Aird down that right side. The big number 10, Kyle Larin at the center forward position. And wide left is, again for Toronto FC, Raheem Edwards. In terms of the lineup for El Salvador, it's Darby Carrillo in goal. Tamacas, Dominguez, Manchilla, and Larin across the back four. Alvarez and Menjivar in midfield with sort of an attacking four for El Salvador. Jaime Alas wide left, Denis Pineda out right, and we have Bonilla and, Efrain Burgos up front. Of course, many of you will remember that Nelson Bonilla had a quite excellent Gold Cup, getting on the score sheet a few times in that tournament. And of course, Canada was here in Houston in that tournament, a 1-1 draw with Costa Rica. And as you'll recall, Alfonso Davies had the goal for Canada on that day, and I do remember some fantastic saves by Milan Borjan, who gets a special shout out for that performance as well. As the teams make their way towards the center circle for kickoff in this one. Canada have been down in Houston since Friday. They've been training previous to that up at Nottawasaga, which is near Alliston, Ontario, just north of Toronto, for the better part of the week in the build-up. as the Canadian players come together in a huddle in their all-white strip with red numbers. Such has been the theme under Octavio Zambrano. This is a very young Canadian team. As the Canadian players emerge from that huddle, Scott Arfield just giving a high five there to Fraser Aird. Of course, two players with Scottish connections. I know they share a close friendship. So across that Canadian back line, a relatively similar one to the Gold Cup, Petrasso at right back and Vitoria and Jakovic in the middle, but Mark Anthony Kay, who did see minutes at the Gold Cup as a midfielder, has returned to left back. Speaking to Octavio Zambrano before the game, Zambrano first saw him as a left back at that under-23 camp in Qatar. He liked what he saw there, and with Marcel de Jong unavailable, Kay steps into that position. Of course, Sam Adekugbe is also on loan at the moment in Scandinavia, so he's not here. So two of Canada's first-choice left backs out of the picture, and Mark Anthony Kay steps in. And we're underway here in Houston. That was rather uncustomary. There was a minute of silence, I believe, observed there for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. That normally happens while the players are standing around the center circle. At this time, they were actually in full formation ready to kick off. But nonetheless, we're underway here in Houston. El Salvador worked that around the back line. This is Larin playing this forward. Here comes the number 19, Stephen Vitoria. Zambrano probably opting just to keep his players cool in there for as long as possible. It is hot here, as I keep saying. It's about 30 degrees Celsius. And I think I mentioned earlier in the broadcast it was 4 Canadians looking to make a debut. It's actually 5 as I just went through the list there. I think I forgot Belon Goyette in that first round. Again, just showing the real youth involved in this Canadian team. Not a lot of what you would call proven stars at this level, but it's all about developing that next crop now. In fact, 2 of these players, apologies, 3 players in their very first men's national team camp, and Jordan Schweitzer made a very brief appearance in a Canadian camp ahead of the Gold Cup, but effectively it's his first camp as well, really. So 5 players in line to make their debuts in the second half, 4 players taking part in their first men's national team camps. I can understand how it's hard for a team like that to get results in a game like this, but Canada on course right now, it's 0-0. Neither team with a whole host of chances in that first half. El Salvador probably edged the early stages, but I'd have to say Canada showed a bit more quality as we kind of came past the half-hour mark. Got a chance to get out on the concourses at halftime and have a bit of fun with the Salvadoran fans. They are here in numbers, having a great time. Just as I say that, I've spotted a young lady in a Christine Sinclair jersey, so at least one Canadian fan in the house here. She's actually taking a quick photo with her dad. That's a nice moment. Of course, Janine Becky and Nichelle Prince playing down for the Houston Dash here in Texas. Dwayne De Rosario, Andre Haino, other Canadian players who have made their name in this building. Few Canadian connections. As Scott Arfield gets us back underway in the second half, it's 0-0. Canada here against El Salvador. Big second half for this Canadian team. They'll want to end this camp on a high. You spent all week building up to this moment. Certainly don't want to lose it. Here's Bonilla. There's Alas. Lays it across back to Alas. Strike! And that's a good save by Simon Thomas. And there it is, right off the off. That is probably the best chance of the game. Jaime Alas with a left-footed drive. Not a good height for Simon Thomas, but he did well just to palm it over the bar. Certainly had some venom in the strike, and Thomas had to be alert there. It's going to be Alas coming across to take this corner kick. Four bodies in there for El Salvador. Canada probably have the height advantage. Doesn't always matter though. Here's Alas. This will be another corner. I think that was Scott Arfield just getting enough on that one to send it back out for a corner. Canada under pressure here early doors in the second half. Alas again on that left foot. Bends it into the box. Simon Thomas collects that one. The majority of fans here behind Simon Thomas in that end, so he'll face probably a bit more abuse than he did in the first half. It's all part of the CONCACAF experience. I'm sure he won't mind that. Sam Piet on the ball here. Looking for Kyle Larin, but I have to say Larin must be a bit frustrated with the service. He's not getting a lot of opportunities to get that ball into feet, and when he has, he's normally had at least one or two Salvadoran players almost glued to his backside. Guess that is the reality of this system. Unless those Canadian midfielders and wingers can get in there to support Larin, he's going to cut a very isolated figure up top. It's been the case so far. Pass is cut out by Mark Anthony Kay. And that whole host of Canadian subs still getting ready here on this near side as Anthony Jackson Hamel makes his way back to the bench. Appears to be getting his top on, so Jackson Hamel might be the first we see. And you'd say, as far as attacking options, he's probably the most established on that Canadian bench. Victoria heads that forward to Larin. Nice bit of control there from Larin. Going to have to shift this ball on. He does find Osorio. Edwards. Edwards allows space to turn, and that's a simple ball to Osorio. Can he find Arfield? He can. Aird's wide right, but just got away from Scott Arfield there. Fraser Aird was in loads of space. Here's Petrasso, and finally gets it to Aird. Bodies in the box. Aird delivers it. It's cut out at the near post with Michael Petrasso trying to make that run in there. Jakovic, Aird. This is a better little spell from Canada. Fraser Aird surging forward. Still Fraser Aird. Just traveling onto his left foot. He certainly favors him on his right. Does look like Anthony Jackson Hamel is getting ready to come in, just having a bit of a chat there with Paul Stalteri. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Alleman looks set to join him. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I think it's been a while since Kevin Alleman has actually played for the men's national team. He's part of that under-23 camp in Qatar, but certainly hasn't played a lot of first-team football for Canada. Kevin Alleman, we think back to 2011 and that real talented group of under-17s. Samuel Piet, Michael Petrasso, both part of that generation, so there'll be three of them on the pitch here if they all stay on. So here come El Salvador. Here's Alas. Certainly been the danger man so far in this half. And that's cut out easily enough by Canada. Sam Piet with a chance to break forward now. Piet just didn't get enough on that. And again, Kyle Larin, you have to say, must be a bit frustrated. He's really struggling to get the ball in. Good opportunities up there. And as many a Canadian center forward can probably attest over the years, playing in that lone role for Canada can be a challenge. Here comes Kyle Larin trying to get on the end of this one. He's done well. Good turn of pace there. Larin just working a thankless task on that corner. He's really done well just to win a throw-in. Canada have to find a way to evolve their threat in the final third. He's looking very isolated up top. Fraser Aird now. Still Aird. Osorio, Piet. with a sloppy pass there from Piet. Mark Anthony Kay, again, done really well. Here's Kay surging through. Scott Arfield in the area. And it's a good save by Carrillo. I think Arfield probably would have wanted to find the corner better than he did there. Hit it straight at the keeper. Mark Anthony Kay with a real good piece of work there, but here comes Bonilla for El Salvador. Nelson Bonilla backing up Dejan Jakovic. Bonilla! And it's just wide. Looked dangerous as the crowd are on their feet here in Houston. El Salvador with two good chances in the early doors in the second half, but Scott Arfield did well to carve out a chance at the other end for Canada. This match is getting stretched. We're seeing some chances. Here we go. The first change of the match for Canada. It's going to be like for like up top. Tony Jacks, as they call him. Anthony Jackson-Hamel coming in. Kyle Larin goes out. Understandably, Kyle looking a bit dismayed there. Wasn't given much of a chance with this Canadian system tonight, but did well to work hard in hot conditions here. Sam Piet, Fraser. Probably expect Kevin Alleman to be next in. He's lining up at the halfway line. Normally plays as a winger, so I'd imagine Fraser or Raheem Edwards would give way. Scott Arfield now pokes it through to Petrasso. Canada in a good area here. Stinked into the box. Fraser trying to get on the end of that. That's Carrillo who gathers it. This match coming to life now. A bit of strength there from Arturo Alvarez to win the throw in for El Salvador. And actually it's going to be Jonathan Osorio in central midfield to give way for Kevin Alleman, so interesting to see how Canada reshuffles here. As Alleman just gives out some instructions to Scott Arfield. Really nice to see Kevin Alleman back in the fold. Showed so much potential as a very young player. He's playing at a good level in Costa Rica, so should be sharp enough here. Piet to Alleman, there's that under-17 combination. That under-17 team in 2011, the first to get a point of any kind in a FIFA under-17 World Cup. I'm sure many of you will remember that now famous Quillen Roberts goal, the goalkeeper. Just launched one up the pitch in the dying stages of the game against England, and Canada took away a 2-2 draw. As that was a decent cross comes shot into the area. That's Pineda on that far side. Thomas not really troubled in the end. Canada just on the back foot a little bit here. But in the same breath, they did create probably their best chance of the game so far. Kay and Arfield worked that opportunity at the other end. You have to say, if one man is capable of unlocking this Salvadoran defense, it's Arfield. Canada need to find a way to get him on the ball. There's Jackson. Jackson-Hamel, another one who's really burst onto the scene for Canada this year. I can think back to last year in Morocco. He was in a finishing drill with the likes of Simeon Jackson and Marcus Haber and a host of more, I guess you would say, established Canadian strikers. But Jackson-Hamel probably at the time looked the sharpest of the bunch. Really quality in the box, and when it comes to finishing chances, he's certainly shown that for Canada. El Salvador working it down this left side once more. That's Alas. Bonilla. Bonilla inside the area. Thankfully for Canada, Arturo Alvarez just couldn't get on the end of that one. The flag stayed down. Question marks over offside there. Assistant referee let them play on. So certainly more chances within the first 10 minutes of this second half than in probably the entirety of that first half. Kay showing his athleticism to keep that in. Jackson-Hamel does well. Arfield looking for Kay. Here he goes down that left side. He'll chase everything down. And he looked to have won a corner, but it looks like it'll be given as a free kick against Mark Anthony Kay. Not sure about that one, but The referee has his say. Drum still pounding behind that goal. Simon Thomas probably getting an earful down there. Pineda does well to win that header. Fraser Aird, he's got space if he can get his head up, he does. Here's Petrasso. Alleman's inside if he can find him. Alleman just cut off his own angle there, but here's Petrasso, and finally he's stripped as well. Tempo building here in Houston. You can sense a bit more urgency between these two teams now. Good interception there by Jakovic. Here's Jackson Hamel, fresh legs for Canada. Jackson Hamel bursting towards that back line. He might still get on the end of this one, and he earns Canada a corner. Well, there you go. Fresh legs, a bit of a willingness to run onto things, as shown by Jackson there. Corner to Canada. As I said, having spent all week with this Canadian team, they'll be very keen to make something of this second half. You don't train all week and fly back from Europe and places far overseas just to play. You certainly want to win, friendly or not. Arfield's ball in. Oh, just swept past Vittoria. It looked like Jakovic might get on the end of it. He's having to track back now. Nothing given there, and El Salvador pour forward. Here's Bonilla. He's got Alvarez on the right side. Artur Alvarez, it's going to be a foot race now. Simon Thomas gets there first, thankfully for Canada. Edwards, Jackson. Flag goes up on the far side. Bit of skill there from Tamarcas. Crowd liked that one. Here come El Salvador inside the area, cross into the box. Kay didn't get much of that clearance. More experienced Stephen Vittoria came over to clear his lines. That would have been harsh on Mark Anthony Kay. He's had a fantastic game so far. And El Salvador probably showing just a bit more energy and enthusiasm here in this second half. Canada needs to find another gear if they're to claw back some control here. Here's Jaime Alas. Connecting the dots, but that's a bad pass. Scott Arfield, Jackson, apology, that's Fraser Aird. Really nicely worked there by El Salvador down this right side. Deep cross into the box looking for Pineda, but he'll do well to keep that in. He has done. Has a rocking challenge by Petrasso. It looks like he got the ball, so I'm not sure what the call is. May have caught the man as well, perhaps just deemed to be excessive force by the referee. He would be the third Canadian to go into the book should the referee get the card out. Doesn't look like he will, actually. So just a bit of momentum building here for El Salvador. Fans behind that goal on your right side getting a little bit fired up. Another difficult defensive situation for Canada to deal with. Let's see how these young players cope. Octavio Zambrano crouched over on his knees as he has been for most of the game. You can really feel the intensity with which he watches these games. During this pause, we just say thanks once more for joining us on CanadaSoccer.com. As a collective team, we've certainly been making our best effort to bring you as much live action from this men's national team as possible.
May I have your attention, please? At the 60th minute.
Really great to have you on board for this one, particularly on a Thanksgiving Sunday. Announcement in the stadium saying that Petrasso's been issued with the yellow card. I'll be honest and say I didn't see it myself. He did speak to the referee. I didn't see a card issued, so question mark there. To clear that one up after the game.
Cambio de la selección de El Salvador. Sale con el número 10, Jaime. Entra el número 11, Dustin Correa.
So a bit of a Canadian connection here. It's Jaime Alas giving way. Dustin Correa, who plays his club football for FC Edmonton, coming into the game. So club players from Canada on both sides of the equation now. I believe he's the only FC Edmonton player involved from either side. No Canadian players from Ottawa Fury in this team. I believe they're the only fully professional Canadian team left out. Of course, Julian de Guzman now with the head coaching role there. That's fantastic to see, and we wish Julian all the best as he gets started with his full-time head coaching career. Not an easy job to transition into, as many former players will say, but certainly wishing Julian all the best, and if anyone's got the experience to make it happen, de Guzman certainly does. And here comes Juan Cordova. As I said, a player with Chilean connections, playing in the Chilean First Division, the top flight down there. So here comes the ball into the area. It's a good one. Mark Anthony Kay alert to the task and nods that one back for another corner. More pressure building for El Salvador. Canada under the gun a bit here in the second half. Real stern test for these young players. Sam Piet nods that one clear, and you have to say El Salvador, perhaps sensing they're not going to win the aerial battle against Canada, they really aren't throwing many players up for those set pieces. Here's a good ball to the box, though. Headed just wide. I believe that was Manchia still up there from that last corner kick, the central defender. Just couldn't quite find that far post area. Canada will be looking to relieve some pressure here. Going to need to find an outlet to do so. It's been a reshuffle up top for Canada. Got Jackson Hamel and Kevin Alleman slotting into new areas. Michael Petrasso has moved over to the right wing from right back. Juan Cordova playing in his natural right back position. Cordova, certainly the smallest player on the pitch, you'd have to say. He's a relatively small man, but he's got great pace, good feet. Just his second appearance for Canada. He came on briefly against Curacao in Montreal in that 2-1 win for Canada. Jackson Hamel with the winner on the night. Here's Scott Arfield, Canada's lone Premier League player at the moment. Petrasso. It's a foul. Nice bit of work there by Petrasso. And you can tell Octavio Zambrano really doesn't need any convincing about the merits of Michael Petrasso's game. He's played a big part under Zambrano, both at under 23 and men's national team levels. I really hope Petrasso can start to find some regular club football, wherever that may be. So free kick for Canada. Scott Arfield standing over it. Look to aim is towards Jakovic, and here is Jakovic. Wonder if he'll keep this in. He does. Not bad pace there from the center half. Here's Alleman. As you know, he loves to work things onto his left foot. He finds Raheem Edwards there. Good feet from Edwards. That's a decent ball into the box. Anthony Jackson Hamel goes up, but as you so often see now, the referee awards that decision to the goalkeeper. Really difficult to challenge goalkeepers these days. That's a good ball down that left side for El Salvador. Here he is, Dustin Correa. The FC Edmonton man can't sort out his feet on that one, and he sends that well over the bar. I think that was supposed to be a cross. So I'm sure some people in Alberta watching their club man take on Canada here. Jackson Hamel goes up against Manchia for that one. Here's Edwards. Harfield in a bit of space. Tidy ball out to Petrasso. Got to support him over there. That's Cordova giving him one option. There's Piet. Canada just maybe trying to find their system now with these new substitutes. Harfield. It's given away in the end by Alaman. Mark Anthony Kay's open here if Raheem Edwards can get his head up. And he does. Good bit of awareness there. Kay can run onto this one. Mark Anthony Kay backing his man down inside the area. Inside to Raheem Edwards. And that second touch just got away from Raheem Edwards. Nice bit of interchange between those two. I believe they were at one stage Toronto FC Academy teammates. Seven minutes played here in Houston. Still 0-0. I'm sure all of you back home are hoping for something exciting to happen, so are we. This might be it. Juan Cordova. That's a good ball. Tony Jacks, Anthony Jackson Hamel getting onto this one. Harfield, Alaman, Edwards with him. Jackson now can't get around his man, Roberto Dominguez, and can't get around him at the second time of asking either. Jackson Hamel, he's inside the area now, looking for Edwards. It's cut out by Manchia. Alaman now, he'll want to work this onto his left foot, he does. Remarkable player, Alaman almost refuses to use his right foot. It's been his trademark since he was about 15 years old. Understandably so, I guess, so gifted on that left foot. Here's Cordova, and that drifts out of play. Still substitutes warming up for Canada, including a whole host who will be making their debuts. I'm sure they're absolutely, well, I guess dying to get in here, really. Special honor to make your debut for the men's national team, and still to come in terms of debuts, you'd have Kwame Awuah, Milovan Kapor, Chris Twardek, Louis Ballon Goyette, and Jordan Schweitzer. In fact, Adam Straith, the only sub left that's actually played any football for this team. Edwards tracks this down. He's done well there. Oh, just seemed to have gotten inside Dominguez there and then was pulled back, but ultimately the foul now given against Edwards, and you can see his frustration, and he'll be booked. So, conceivably, the fourth yellow card given to Canada, and for a team that really doesn't rack up many cards in CONCACAF, 4 handed out here in a friendly. Still a bit unsure whether or not Petrasso did receive one. I don't have the benefit of a producer to talk to, so that's a bit of a question mark, but certainly 3 yellow cards for Canada at this stage. Raheem Edwards picking up the latest one, and the referee comes to have a chat with the Canadian bench, and I believe Paul Stalteri. Understandably, Stalteri a little bit dismayed at that decision. Arguably, the initial foul was really on Raheem Edwards. And I'm sure you remember from his playing days, Paul Stalteri, not one afraid to voice his opinion. Such a competitor. And really, that tenacity probably what propelled him to the very highest levels. Tottenham Hotspur and winning the Bundesliga, and I believe a cup as well with Werder Bremen in Germany. Still the only Canadian player to have won the Bundesliga, and probably that is the greatest club achievement of all time by a Canadian. Paul Stalteri was inducted into the Hall of Fame last month in Toronto. Rightfully so. Man who's done so much for Canadian football. So, just over 20 minutes to play. KG affair here in Houston. It's been an intriguing match, you know, not devoid of entertainment. Really just a pleasure to watch this young Canadian team evolve and adapt to challenges like this. If you compare this to the Canadian team that played El Salvador in World Cup qualifying, I believe about 13 months ago in Vancouver, it's just a completely different team. no Milan Borjan, no Atiba Hutchinson, no Junior Hoylett, just to name 3, and there are plenty more, so just a new challenge for a very new Canadian team. Here's Petrasso, he's been impressive in this second half. I think he natively fancies himself as a bit of a winger rather than a fullback, so he'll be relishing this opportunity to play a bit higher up the pitch. We touched on Junior Hoylett there. Junior's had a really fantastic start to the championship season with Cardiff, but it was a bit unsettled last season, so nice to see him playing virtually every minute for Cardiff so far. He's got a couple goals already this campaign. Cardiff looking like they'll at least challenge for the playoffs, potentially a challenge to get back into the Premier League. It'd be great to see Junior get back to that level. Of course, did so well with Blackburn Rovers as a young player in the Premier League. And as he showed last month in Toronto on his hometown debut, just a player full of potential and trickery and quality for Canada. Another addition to the program in recent years that has really boosted the quality in this squad. Another substitution coming here for El Salvador. So Nelson Bonilla, as I said, who was such a dangerous threat for them at the Gold Cup, he comes out. Number 19, Irvin Herrera. I won't profess to know the entire backstory, but there was a report earlier this week that there was a bit of disgruntlement between the the Salvadoran players and the Federation. There was even a question mark over whether these senior Salvadoran players would in fact play this match. I believe that was resolved, and so we have pretty much a full strength Salvadoran team here. You may remember when Canada went down to San Salvador a couple years ago in local qualifying, there was a dispute between the players and the Federation at that time, which basically involved some of the first team players not playing in that match in San Salvador. Canada unfortunately couldn't take advantage. Having spoken to some of the players about that last qualifying campaign, they really felt that that 0-0 result in San Salvador should have been and could have been a 1-0 win for Canada, and that probably would have made all the difference, but unfortunately not to be, as Canada now turns its focus to the longer term. Again, a bit of an enforced water break here. Just a chance for Stalteri and Zambrano and the coaches to pass on some messages. Not often you hear the house music turned on during a half of football, but so it is here in Houston. Houston Texans, the NFL team, will play here later tonight, so you can kind of sense the whole city gearing up for that one. As I mentioned, a lively club friendly here yesterday between Tigres and Monarcas. About 20,000 plus Mexican supporters in the venue here, having a great time. It's really been a festival of football this weekend for these Latin American fans. So we edge up on the 75-minute mark. Still not a whole lot to speak of in terms of chances. There was a little flurry early on in the second half. It's very much of a case of neither team wanted to lose this game, but I suppose the neutrals are hoping for one of these teams to show a bit more cutting edge in that final third. It's a good cross into the area, looking for Herrera, and there's a goal! It's Denis Pineda. A bit of confusion at the back for Canada there, as Pineda was allowed to slot that one home from about 4 yards out. Simon Thomas just seems to be urging the players to get back to halfway and get this one started. As we see a replay, it was a fantastic cross from the left side. And Denis Pineda just snuck in behind Mark Anthony Kaye. It was a relatively easy finish into that bottom right corner. And that's harsh on Mark Anthony Kaye, who, as I keep saying, has had a fantastic game. And that Salvadoran group of fans behind that goal are on their feet now and sure you can hear the decibels go up in this building quite a bit. So some work to do for Canada now. Perhaps this will spark them into life. So here we go. 15 minutes of regulation time to play. Saint-Pierre on the ball. Canada with something to prove now, down 1-0 here to El Salvador. As I said, they've had the edge over El Salvador in recent years. They won't want to lose this. You have to applaud the quality on the cross. I believe that was Dustin Correa, the FC Edmonton player, with that really nice ball in off his left foot. You hear cheers of El Salvador from the fans here. They've been waiting for something to cheer about. They've got it now. And a challenge for Canada to mount a fight back. This is maybe where you wonder how these young Canadian players will respond to a bit of adversity. It's been mostly smooth sailing for them this year, in truth. And again, that was a real dangerous chance for El Salvador. Canada just a bit looser at the back than you'd hope for, and that could be a reflection of all the changes. Never easy to adapt when you're making this many substitutions as Canada has, particularly with young players. Here's Saint-Pierre on the ball. Canada needs to find a way to get something going here. Nothing given on Kevin Alleman there. Scott Arfield makes the interception as Canada trying to build something here. It's a ball for Jackson Hamel. He'll bring that down. Nice outside of the boot touch. Jackson Hamel around the outside. Looking inside for Arfield. Might yet drop for Arfield. Oh, and just got his wires crossed. Here's Kevin Alleman on the left foot. That's right at Darby Carrillo. Good bit of response there from Canada. Probably could have been more dangerous, but I think Arfield and Edwards just got their wires crossed on that little play. In the end, the strike right at Carrillo from Kevin Alleman. Here's Herrera. That's given as a foul against Jakovic. The volume rising still here in Houston. I'm sure you can hear it as well. See the frustration on the face of Saint-Pierre there. It's been a really good year for Canada. They won't want to potentially end their season like this. No confirmed matches for the November period yet.
Denis Pineda entra con el número 16, Andrés Flores. Repetimos, cambio en la selección de El Salvador. Sale con el número 8, Denis Pineda, entra con el número 16, Andrés Flores.
So here it is, another free kick for El Salvador. It's a right-footed strike. Oh, and it was just wide of that top right corner. Efraim Burgos there. Canada on the back foot again here. With so many leaders and veterans of the Canadian team out of the lineup for this one, kind of wonder who might take charge here. Obviously this Arfield with all kinds of experience. And here he is. He's done well there to get around his man and fan marker Anthony Kay. Kay just loses out there. You wonder if he's starting to tire a bit. Kay has put everything into this one. He's really given everything you could ask of a young player. Is given as a foul against El Salvador. Herrera adjudged to have fouled Kay there. Here's Jakovic. Canada needs to start thinking about getting this stuff forward a bit faster. Trasso just looking for options, opts to play it back to Jakovic. Unfortunately for Jakovic, there's really not a lot to aim at the moment. Yet Alamin trying to work something through the middle here. El Salvador back in numbers. Piet looking for Jackson Hamel. That's cut out by Manchia.
Salvador happy just to keep this one. Playing the ball across the back line, but this will fall to Sam Piet. Seconds ticking away here for Canada. Still plenty of time though. Here's Petrasso to Juan Cordova. Petrasso again. And El Salvador sitting deep here. Canada are going to need to find something special to break them open. At least going to have to find a way to get numbers forward. Edwards here. Just looking to get around his man. Alamin's in space, but Edwards turns back himself. Still got it though, Edwards. Good tenacity there. Still going. Done well. Done well there, Raheem Edwards. Still on it now. He must be relatively exhausted after that little burst. Zambrano looks set to bring in Chris Twardek here. As I said, Twardek, another young player. He's playing at Millwall in England. Hasn't played for the first team yet this season, but he's been on the bench a few times, which for an academy player is a good breakthrough. And El Salvador coming forward here again. Here's Alvarez. Manchia. Looking for Herrera. He's been lively since he's come on. He's maybe been a bit of a catalyst for this whole Salvadoran breakthrough. It's a cross inside the area. Oh, two good blocks there by Canadian players. That looks deadly for Canada. As that was Victor Garcia on the ball for El Salvador. Here comes Jackson Hamel. A chance for Canada to counter. Surely a foul, and that's unfortunate because Kevin Alman was streaking into a good position. And it looks like we're going to have a first yellow card of the game to a Salvadoran player. As Chris Twardek is set to come in for Raheem Edwards. So here we go. We talked about debuts, and here's your first one. Chris Twardek makes his debut for the men's national team. Congratulations to Chris. Is there a storyline written for him to be a late hero here against El Salvador? Canadian coaches say that Twardek had a really good under-20 campaign with the under-20 Canadian side. He's getting his just rewards here. Called up to the men's national team. Had a loan spell with Braintree, who I believe play in, the 6th or 7th tier in English football. Made 12 appearances for them last year. Just trying to get into that first team in Millwall. Still a very young player, aged just 20. Actually turned out for the Czech Republic youth system a number of times from the under 17 to under 19 levels. Has 2 goals and 5 appearances for Canada at the under 20 level. Wouldn't Octavio Zambrano love to see him get off the mark here? Pull one back for Canada. It's a good opportunity to loft the ball into the box for Scott Arfield. He's taken virtually every set piece for Canada. You can understand why. Proud moment for the Twardek family if they're watching back home to see their son get a taste of first team football here with Canada. Be a lot sweeter if Canada can find something late on here. Kevin Alman has given Arfield an option to the left, but Arfield's going to float this into the box. That's Kay knocking it down. Couldn't find Jackson Hamel. Here's Juan Cordova. That's ultimately given as a foul. I didn't see much wrong with that, but Herrera is down for El Salvador. Again, seconds ticking away for Canada. Just ticked past the 85-minute mark. Don't expect there'll be a lot of added time, so really just 5 minutes and a little bit of change for Canada here. Salvadorian fans, as you see, just on their feet and loving life here. They've probably been tailgating for a few hours and perhaps have reason to be enjoying themselves. 1-0 up here, why not? Just a bit of a reality check for Canada at this stage. I mean, when you take players like Hoylett, Hutchinson, Orion, a couple others out of the lineup, I mean, it's not easy. This camp all about just blooding these young players, but it's very hard to get results that way. And that is the challenge for a coach like Octavio Zambrano. You want to have one eye on the future, but you want to keep that winning culture going, and it's a fine balance. Canada still with a bit of time to try claw something back here. Actually got Steven Vittoria down on the play, but seems to be back on his feet. Probably a case of tired legs at this stage. As I believe that's Louis Ballon-Goyette, who is now getting ready. My apologies, it's Adam Strafe. So Adam Strafe maybe set to come in here. And that is a nasty coming together. That is the boot of Kevin Alleman straight to the face of Brian Tamakas, unintentional. That's a card for Alleman as well, and that one you can understand why. So potentially the 5th yellow card for Canada in this friendly. You really don't see that very often, but Canada getting a crash course in CONCACAF refereeing, and there might be challenges you can make in certain club levels that you can't make in international football and CONCACAF, and Canada finding that out here. Unfortunately, this is just more seconds ticking away. There'll, of course, be injury time added on, but this one grinding towards the final whistle. Stretcher coming onto the field now.
Su atención, por favor. Al minuto 88, a cambio en la selección del Salvador, sale con el número 12, Arturo Álvarez. Y entra con el número 17.
Substitution for El Salvador as Alvarez goes out.
Alexis Cerritos
coming in, as you probably just heard. Should say that as you look at the appearance count for both teams, no question El Salvador, the more experienced side here, as we've been saying all night. Alvarez, one of those established players, he makes way. Just coming up on 89 minutes here. That's the question at this stage, is how many minutes will we play beyond the 90? I imagine 3 or 4. We'll see what the 4th official says. Canada just needs to get a foot on the ball and try and make something happen here. Easier said than done, though. That's Piet looking for Twardek. That's cut out. Strike from range. That was a bit ambitious from Raul Renderos, one of the substitutes. Thomas scrambles together that one quickly. Canada will want to get this forward, but the type of players they have on the pitch, launching it long really isn't an option. There's not a lot of height up there when you got Alleman and Petrasso up next to Jackson Hamel. Tries his luck anyways, Thomas, and it's not going to get there anyways. But here is Jackson Hamel in the second phase. Canada
Canada, you have to say, really haven't gotten it going as they would have hoped for offensively in the second half. Really just that one chance to Arfield. It was the man you would have hoped it would fall to, but he couldn't find the back of the net on his left foot, right at the goalkeeper, Darby Carrillo. Just waiting to see how many minutes we'll play beyond the 90 here. Fourth official just getting his board out. 4. We'll play an extra 4 minutes here in Houston. 4 minutes for Canada to salvage something after this week-long camp. They won't want to go home like this.
4 minutes stop time. 4 minutes.
But even still, Petrasso struggling just to find an option to throw it into. El Salvador with their tails up here. Anthony Kay pressing to get this one back. Octavio can be seen saying just don't foul him. And it works out as a throw into Canada. Canada needs to get this forward. Jackson Hamel. Sandwich between two players. Arfield can't get up, but here's Twardek. The referee pulls it back. So a good opportunity here for Canada. Canada need to make this one count. No question Vittoria and Jakovic will be coming up for this one. Maybe Kevin Alleman now to bend this towards them on his left foot. Arfield there as well on his right. Octavio Zambrano down on his knees. It's not really that uncommon for him, though. He tends to spend a lot of the game hunched over. You can really feel that intensity, as I said. Yellow card given again to Efrain Burgos. I've probably lost track. I think that's 7 in total now. It's somewhat bizarre for a friendly. Scott Arfield standing over this one. It's just far enough out that he won't really think about striking, I don't think. Just Piet, Alleman, and Cordova back. Lots of big bodies up there for Canada. Big play here. We've really only got a minute after, my apologies, 2 minutes to play after this. Arfield standing over it, into the box. Looking for Vittoria, but he couldn't get there. Arfield again, though. There's numbers over there. Oh, it's unfortunate. Jakovic was in loads of space. And here come El Salvador, 3v2. This is going to be dangerous. It's played across goal, and Cordova gets just enough on it to send it wide for a corner. Not much time left for Canada to get it up the pitch, even if they can survive this now. Just over a minute to play. And understandably, Efrain Burgos in no hurry to take this corner. As he picks the ball up in amongst those yellow and, my apologies, blue and white streamers down in that far corner. El Salvadorian fans on their feet here in Houston. They can sense the win just over a minute away. It'll be frustration for Canada if it stays like this. And El Salvador looking just to box this one in, and Juan Cordova has to try to deal with that. Goal kick. So just about 30 seconds here. It's going to need to be quick from Thomas. He'll go direct, but there's not a lot to aim at up there. Simon Thomas sends it forward. Jackson Hamel does what he can. This will fall to Mark Anthony Kay, and here comes Petrasso. Canada looking for a foul there. It's not given. That is a bit of a strange decision. And that could well and truly be it for Canada. That would have been a nice last-ditch spot to curl a ball in from, but we're not going to get it. Unfortunately for this young Canadian team, they're going to fall just short here, I think. There's been a fair few stoppages within stoppage time, but I wonder if the referee will add on any more time. We've already played an extra 30 seconds. The final whistle can only be moments away. It's flicked on. Okay, desperate to win it back. He does, but it's another throw-in, and you fear you won't see this ball get out of the Canadian half once more in this game. Should be it very shortly.
There it is, full-time whistle. And you'll hear the El Salvadorian crowd roar now. A 1-0 win for them. Disappointing for Canada, who with this young side would have really wanted to get something out of this game. They haven't done so. Handshakes between the two sides. Out at center field. So the Canadian players will now head back to their clubs. MLS season's winding down and season's overseas in full swing. Certainly this wasn't the result they were hoping for after a full week of hard work leading up to this game. So the two goalkeepers, Simon Thomas and Darby Carrillo, just exchanging shirts there. It'll be a special night for Chris Twardek nonetheless, as he made his debut for the men's national team here. So we say thank you once again for your support and for joining us here on CanadaSoccer.com for this broadcast. Final score here at the BBVA Stadium is Canada 0, El Salvador 1. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll chat to you very soon.